What are your thoughts on the taxes that we have to pay? I would be surprised if, on the surface, people liked paying taxes. And that could be because sometimes we see our money appearing to be wasted by the politicians in charge. Examples of this would be the subsidised bars in the House of Commons, members of Parliament who appear to be sleeping, and even members of Parliament who don't always turn up for debates and voting, but still take the nice paycheck at the end of the month. The constant pay rises when the rest of the population is suffering with cutbacks and austerity. I know that my paycheck would look a lot better at the end of each month without all the deductions for tax and national insurance, which would in turn make my bank manager much happier with me. At some time in most of our lives, we will have had need for the police, ambulance service or fire brigade. I have over time needed the help of all three, luckily not all at the same time. Our taxes go to pay for the brave men and women who constantly put their lives in danger to provide these services for us. The same goes for the armed forces, for without our taxes we would be defenceless against invasion from other countries. Taxes have been around for a long time and have had a bad reputation in every era, from our government's pay rises today, back to the Georgian window tax where people blocked up their windows to pay less tax, and also back even further to the time of Jesus. As we heard in the Gospel reading on Sunday, taxes were expected to be paid in the time of Jesus to the Romans. Let's just take a moment to think how this must have felt. This hard-earned money that had been paid wasn't providing the people with any medical help if they got ill. It didn't pay for a team of people to help them protect their possessions in the case of fire. They would have to work together with the rest of their village to do that themselves. The money was not going to pay for their own armed services to keep them safe. It was, in fact, being paid to the soldiers and leaders of an invading force. They came into their country, their hometown, took possession of all that was good, and made the people pay them for the privilege as well. You can understand why the idea of paying taxes back then was upsetting and frustrating. The Pharisees wanted to bring an end to Jesus and his followers, not because what they were teaching the people was wrong. Everything that Jesus taught came from the scriptures. It just showed them up as being similar to the false prophets of old. They had lost the message of God. They had allowed themselves over many generations to get bogged down with rules and procedure, which they had put above love of their fellow human being. It is also possible that they had a kind of truce with the Romans. They accepted their arrival and even worked with them against their own people at times. They liked the prestige of their role, the respect and deference that the role brought them. But they did not really always want to work for it. They wanted to take the easy route and to have a quiet life. So they set what they thought was a good trap for Jesus. They expected Jesus to say that everything should be paid to God. Then they could accuse him of having spoken against Caesar and instigating insurrection, which in turn would mean that he would be arrested by the Romans. This would mean that they could get rid of Jesus, who was a large thorn in their side, and his followers would then fall back in line, and their lives could return to normal. But they underestimated Jesus. He knew straight away what these people were trying to do. Jesus caught them out when he answered them in the way that appeared to honour both God and Caesar. By saying, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God," he has not fallen into the Pharisees' trap, but he has still honoured God by instructing the people to always reach out in faith and to give thanks to God for all that he has provided them. Today, money is just a token we use to pay for things. It's just the way our society works, and so we have to pay tax. In paying our tax to our government, we are paying the wages of the nurses or doctors and all the others I mentioned earlier. And in paying these people, we are giving thanks for the call to their vocation that has been given to them by God. So even though our money has a picture of our Queen on it and it goes to the government to pay for our services, it is also honouring God by giving thanks for the love he shows us through the love and care of others. Amen.